The moment the black SUV doors opened outside Stanford Stadium, the crowd didn't just scream. They erupted. It was the kind of sound that shakes your chest. A tidal wave of emotion so intense that even the security guards turned their heads in disbelief. Thousands of fans had been waiting for hours under the California sun. Some had arrived before sunrise. Some were holding handmade banners. Some were clutching purple light sticks with trembling hands. And when Jimin finally stepped out, everything changed. Phones shot into the air. People burst into tears. And one phrase echoed across the crowd again and again. "This is insane." Because no matter how many times fans see Jimin, nothing prepares them for what it feels like when he appears in person. The cameras capture his smile. The videos show the cheers. But they can never fully convey the electricity of that moment. The way the air seems to stop. The way thousands of hearts beat as one. The way a single wave from Jimin can make someone cry like they've just witnessed a miracle. And if you think that sounds dramatic, ask the fans who were there. Because what happened when BTS arrived in Stanford ahead of their May 16th concert was more than a fan meeting. It was an emotional explosion. And at the center of it all was Jimin. The anticipation had been building for days. Ever since rumors began spreading that BTS would arrive in California early, ARMY had been on full alert. Social media was flooded with flight updates, airport sightings, and excited predictions. Would the members greet fans? Would they stop to wave? Would Jimin smile? For ARMY, even the possibility was enough to send excitement through the roof. And as the hours ticked down, the crowd outside Stanford Stadium kept growing. Fans came from all over the United States. Some drove for hours. Some flew in from other states. Some had saved money for months just to be there. They brought banners, flowers, and signs reading, "Welcome to Stanford, Jimin." The energy was electric. But beneath the excitement was nervous tension. Because no one knew how close they would get. No one knew how much time they would have. No one knew whether Jimin would even stop. And that uncertainty only made the anticipation more intense. Then the first vehicles appeared. A ripple moved through the crowd. People stood on tiptoe. Security personnel shifted into position. The atmosphere changed instantly. Something was happening. The black SUVs rolled closer. The crowd began to scream. Then one of the doors opened, and out stepped Jimin. The reaction was immediate, deafening. Thousands of voices rose into the air at once. Fans cried. Some covered their mouths. Others stood frozen, unable to process that the person they had admired for years was suddenly standing only meters away. Jimin looked up, saw the sea of faces, and smiled. That smile. Soft, warm, slightly shy. The kind of smile that feels like a hug. And in that instant, the emotional intensity doubled. Because Jimin has a way of making massive moments feel personal. Even surrounded by security, cameras, and screaming fans, he somehow radiates gentleness. He waved slowly, made eye contact with the crowd, placed a hand over his heart. And just like that, people were openly sobbing. Can you imagine waiting years to see someone who has comforted you through difficult times? Someone whose music helped you heal? Someone whose voice felt like a safe place? And then, when you finally stand in front of him, he looks at you with genuine gratitude. That was the experience many fans had that day. And Jimin seemed deeply moved by it. He didn't rush. He didn't offer a quick wave and disappear. He lingered, taking in the signs, listening to the chants, absorbing the love. At one point, he laughed softly after hearing a particularly loud group of fans shout his name. Then he bowed. A deep, respectful bow that instantly sent another wave of emotion through the crowd. Because that's who Jimin is. No matter how famous he becomes, he never stops expressing sincere gratitude. And that sincerity is why fans love him so deeply. Of course, Jimin wasn't alone. The other BTS members were there as well. Suga, Jin, and Jungkook all received massive cheers as they greeted the crowd. Each member brought their own energy. Jin radiated warmth. Jungkook looked amazed by the turnout. Suga smiled with quiet appreciation. But whenever the camera turned to Jimin, the reaction intensified. There was something about his presence that day. Perhaps it was the tenderness in his expression. Perhaps it was the way he kept acknowledging fans. Or perhaps it was simply Jimin being Jimin. Beautiful, humble, and emotionally present. The fan meeting itself felt like a dream. Laughter echoed through the stadium. Members exchanged playful glances. Fans screamed at every gesture. But Jimin continued to create small moments that carried enormous emotional weight. A tiny finger heart. A shy grin. A warm glance toward a banner in the crowd. Each action seemed simple. Yet each one left fans overwhelmed. Because when Jimin interacts with ARMY, it never feels routine. It feels genuine. At one point, he appeared to notice a fan crying near the front. His expression softened immediately. He waved directly in her direction. The fan collapsed into tears. And thousands watching online felt emotional too. That is Jimin's gift. He notices people. He makes them feel seen. And in a world where so many people feel invisible, that kind of attention is incredibly powerful. As the event continued, the emotional energy only grew stronger. The members spoke about their excitement for the upcoming May 16th concert. The crowd erupted every time Jimin mentioned how happy he was to be in California. He looked around the stadium as if trying to take in every detail, every face, every voice, every expression of love. And then came one of the most unforgettable moments of the day. Jimin paused, looked out over the audience, and said how grateful he was for the support. His voice was calm, but his eyes told another story. They shone with emotion. For a brief moment, the noise in the stadium softened, and the atmosphere became almost intimate, as though Jimin was speaking directly to each person there. Thank you. I see you. I'm here because of you. No elaborate speech was necessary. His sincerity said everything. By this point, many fans were already crying. Some were laughing through tears. Others simply stared, trying to memorize every second. Because moments like this pass quickly. But the feelings they create last forever. Social media exploded in real time. Clips of Jimin waving, smiling, and placing his hand over his heart spread across every platform. Fans posted comments like, "I can't stop crying. He looks so happy. This is why we love him." Jimin always makes ARMY feel special. And perhaps the most repeated message of all. This is more than a fan meeting. And they were right. What happened at Stanford Stadium was more than a promotional appearance. It was a reunion, a celebration, a reminder of the extraordinary connection between Jimin and ARMY. The kind of connection that can't be manufactured. It's built over years of trust, comfort, and shared memories. And when that bond comes to life in person, the emotion is overwhelming. As the event drew to a close, Jimin took one final look at the crowd. He waved slowly, smiled that soft, unforgettable smile, and bowed deeply. The cheers grew louder than ever. Fans shouted messages of love. Some begged him to come closer. Others simply cried, knowing the moment was ending. Then Jimin turned and began walking away. But just before disappearing from view, he looked back one more time, raised his hand, and gave one final wave. That tiny gesture sent the crowd into one last emotional frenzy, because it felt like a promise that this was only the beginning. that an even bigger moment awaited them on May 16th. And if this fan meeting was any indication, the concert itself would be unforgettable. But beyond the excitement and the viral clips, something deeper happened that day. Jimin reminded thousands of people why they love him so much. Not just for his talent, not just for his beauty, but for his heart, for the way he makes fans feel appreciated, for the way he treats their love as something precious, for the way he never stops being kind. That is what people remember. Years from now, some fans may forget exactly what Jimin wore. They may forget the order of events, but they will remember how they felt when he smiled at them, when he bowed, when he placed his hand over his heart, when he looked out at the crowd as if every single person mattered. Because to Jimin, they do. And perhaps that is the true reason why his arrival at Stanford Stadium felt so emotional. It wasn't just about seeing a superstar. It was about feeling seen by someone who genuinely cares. So let me ask you, if you had been standing in that crowd, what do you think would have made you cry first? The moment Jimin stepped out of the SUV? His warm smile? That heartfelt bow? Or the final wave before he disappeared? Tell me in the comments. And if this moment reminded you why Jimin holds such a special place in your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because some artists impress us, some inspire us, and a very rare few make us feel truly loved. Jimin is one of those rare few. And that is why ARMY all over the world will never stop loving him.